it with music, beautiful music. Hello, I'm Fred Miller, and this is yet another lecture in song. And before we turn our attentions to two very prominent Midwesterners who contributed so much to the glories of American popular song, a little bit about me, a Southwesterner. I was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and loved classical music from a very early age, loved grand opera, all that. Had a great teacher, a piano teacher. And then, right on my 13th birthday, the Beatles arrived, so my musical taste expanded to include the great rock songs of the 60s, and that would go on through high school. Till the summer after I graduated from high school, a friend showed me this article about a big rock festival taking place in upstate New York, and we looked at that lineup and we thought, well, we've got to go. And we did indeed. We hitchhiked most of the way from New Mexico to the Woodstock Festival, and I'm very prominently in the poster there. I never wanted to be a rock musician, and anyway, that was the peak of the rock age, I think. So I maybe had a sense of that anyway at the time. I didn't feel I was cut out to be a classical musician either. I just wanted to be a musician. I didn't know what that was going to be. Anyway, I went to college briefly, left very, very quickly, and toured around the country in my VW Bug, and finally ended up in Greenwich Village. And at some point, somebody gave me an album of Ella Fitzgerald singing Cole Porter. There was my music, the world of Gershwin, Porter, Kern, Rogers, Berlin, Fred Astaire, Judy Garland, Ethel Merman, Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, and eventually came up with the idea of a lecture and song, each one be a profile of a great personality or some aspect of American popular song. I started just with songwriters and performers and thought maybe to have 10 programs, 12 programs maybe, and then it just expanded to 7 categories. And now to date there are 75 different lectures in song, all described in detail at fredmillermusic.com. This program, like many, just I have to include certain personalities. You just can't ignore them. They're just still too prominent. These are, as said, two Midwesterners. I call this program Heartland Troubadours, HOAGY Carmichael and Meredith Willson. I mean, they were both born right at the turn of the 20th century, just in time for the great American century. And they lived into their 80s, and they witnessed all the greatest events of the great American century. I mean, flight cars, space travel, recordings, film, radio, TV, all new to the 20th century. But they did not, and they missed out the computers and the internet, but they did not miss out on the golden age of American songwriting on Broadway and in Hollywood. I mean, they were very much an integral part of it. And I think their work, both of them, it's really influenced by their distinctive backgrounds. I mean, they were not like, Gershwin and Kern and Rogers, who were New York Jews, basically. And then you have these two Midwesterners, who had this whole different flavor, sort of behind them, and it shows up in their music, certainly, and their charming folksiness sort of underpinned by real strong technical bedrock. I mean, these guys knew what they were doing. They had great artistic discipline. But anyway, this is the folky part of it, the Midwestern part of it, the American heartland part of it. That's what I think is distinctive. HOAGY was from Bloomington, Indiana, and he was in a way as famous for his persona on film and on TV as he was for his songs. It's all in that face and that drawl, And here I'm going to start with a collaboration he did with another friend of his, another country boy named Johnny Mercer, who has his own program. I know where the peach trees bear a harvest all year round. I know where an old gray mare eats bluegrass from the ground. That's where the folks never turn a hand, they just live off the land. My rocking chair is waiting there, that's why I'm homeward bound. I long for that moon country, that possum and coon country, that sycamore heaven back south. Lose my mind if I get there. I long to that old country, that good for the soul country, good for cooking things that melt in your mouth, oh Lord. When my cousin Cindy Lou plays the twilight hymn to you, she makes that old piano sound exactly like brand new. I long for that moon country, that's where I should be, 'cause that old moon country is home to me. 'Cause that old moon country is home to me. Well, Sycamore Heaven, I think that gives it away. Indiana it was. That was Hoagie's home state. And he would write about it. You know, he didn't write lyrics, but I guess being Hoagie Carmichael, you know, they had to provide sort of folksy lyrics for his folksy tunes. Can't get Indiana off my mind. That's the place I long to see. Back in Indiana I will find all the folks so dear to me. How I'd love to see that lazy river stopping